you have to become open to the possibility that there must be a better way, that new information or new revelations can be given to that sleeping mind to reawaken and accelerate that learning process. Each of us is on our own perfect path, and that means you and you alone get to decide when it's time that you'll listen. So
Hey,
even though the personal experiences uh, can't disprove the idea or can't prove the idea that you've lived in the past, it can help feed the idea that maybe that's a possibility.
hey, Tom.
So yeah,
Um, on a personal note,
yeah.
did your relationship with your father change after this experience?
Um, I'm going to say no, and, and yes. Okay, it didn't at that time. Okay, because in my own mind, I knew that I was not a victim. Okay, but that didn't prevent me from wanting to get even, so to speak. And although I could quote unquote forgive him, okay, it was because of my own self interest. It wasn't really true forgiveness. What I was doing was supposedly forgiving him for things that really he had done that had harmed me. And rather than say those were learning lessons, and he was helping me to realize some of these lessons I had to learn. Now, whenever I said it didn't change things, about 25 years later, when I uh, realized that whenever I changed my story, whenever I reframed all my experience, and instead of making him my nemesis, and he was my nemesis, and whatever he tried to do, I figured whatever he suggested, I should do the opposite. Okay, so he was my negative mentor. Whenever I changed him from my nemesis to my greatest teacher, the relationship changed. Okay. And then what was done for my own self interest, our relationship just blossomed. And he was one of the few people that I could talk things that were of what I consider of consequence. And no, the relationship did change. It was wonderful. It was definitely healed. And what it was is it was a healing of my soul. Whenever I reframed him from uh, someone that was out to harm me to someone who was willing, and actually it happened whenever I wrote him a letter, and I wrote him a letter, and that was about whenever I was 45. And I thanked him for being my father and said that he was the greatest gift that I could ever have because he had always uh, been doing whatever I needed at that moment. Now, I didn't say that uh, he, what he was doing was harming me. Oh, okay, because that wouldn't have helped. This way, and it was all, and you all screwed up all that time, but somehow I managed. No, I said you were what I needed. Oh, okay, I just left it at that. But with that, in saying that he was uh, my greatest teacher, that opened a crack in the door for that relationship, and uh, it just blossomed. And it was, I'm going to say, a miracle how it changed. So